We're back after a couple of week absence. I was sick last week, so
Yeah,
um, we're back, man. I mean, God, so much shit has happened in the last 2 weeks.
yeah.
Um,
Fuck, man. Like even when I messaged you yesterday, I was like, "Fuck, bro." Like it's been some bad news, some great news, but like it's
yeah,
just been a very active couple of weeks for, especially considering like international rugby is not even happening at the moment.
yeah,
Oh
yeah. So
fuck.
we're gonna go ahead and just
Sorry,
start off with like what we should
sorry, man.
start off.
My camera fucked around. I pulled my cable. Yeah, so let me just fix this quickly. Setting camera.
All right, I see you.
There we go. Boom.
We'll go ahead and start off with, I guess, the most easy news to talk about to start off the week. I mean, who called that? Who called that?
I didn't call that big a win, but I was definitely like supporting the Lions in that game.
I for anybody that didn't watch, I mean it was 38 nothing at the 79th minute. Like it wasn't like, oh, they no, the Sharks didn't score until the last like 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
And
and they had some fucking good players there, mate. Like I don't
yeah.
understand what went
Oh,
what went on.
did the monsoon finally stop?
Yeah, it's still
Fuck.
rainy weather here by us today, but yeah,
Yeah. So it was like you had this game. I mean, hats off to the Lions. They played absolutely just amazing rugby. And I loved the Edville Vandermerve try celebration where he got up on his
yeah, it's like on his head and he
with
falls over.
the scrub cap on. It was just kind of like they were having a good time. The crowd obviously usually is it's always an issue at Ellis Park, but the crowd that
Yeah,
was there was very exciting. And at least on the feed that we got here for North America, instead of just being a blank halftime, they actually showed some interviews with fans outside of the stadium. And there was like the guy that had the Lions tattoo on his arm, and like just fans and like about
oh yeah,
school and stuff like that. And it was just it gave you a good
yeah. We had the
yeah,
same.
it was a great atmosphere. Like I would have loved to have been at that game just because it seems like the kind of place where you can buy a crappy ticket, but it's so empty you could just move down and nobody will say anything. I don't know if you can get away with that there, but
No, hundred
like
percent.
I would be
I'm sure
yeah,
you
I would
can.
be
I'm,
yeah,
I'm
like
sure
when
you
the
can.
guys are running out of the tunnel, I would be right there just making noise for those guys. And I mean, like I said, it's the Lions. Obviously they don't do too well, but it's like when they get a win and it's at home and it's in front of their fans, you can't complain. Like it's
Mm.
I always will have a soft spot for that team no matter what. They will always be like the team I have. Like it's like I'm trying to be a Sharks fan, but it's hard. Being a Lions fan is easy. It's maybe because it's a
Yeah, yeah,
geographical
yeah.
thing, but um so not a bad game.
Yeah, and the Lions are from my
So
area,
yeah,
mate.
yeah, it's
Like
good to
so.
have the local team. Now the big one, like I so we got up in the morning and went to a farmer's market locally here because it was the first day of the year for them to do that. And great experience. My wife bought some things. I bought some dried meat, not bull
Mm.
tongue or dry waters, but jerky and beef sticks is what we have here. And they were okay, a little bit overpriced. And then we went to go have breakfast at a local diner here. So I get on my phone and it shows like rain delay. And then all of a sudden, people that were there were sending me videos of them using mops or like brooms to brush the water. Like
Mm.
it was raining so hard at Loftus that they had to use like just volunteers. Like people were getting like, we want to play this game, and that just shows you the
Yeah.
passion of Bulls fans. They want to see if the only thing that's going to stop this is a tornado or a hurricane or a earthquake. Like we're
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think one try scored total in the whole game. I think everything was off the boot, I believe, or maybe two tries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a very
Like this short piece that I didn't watch on the game.
yeah,
So, but I did see that the Bulls scored one
yeah,
try,
and
and then I don't know if the
I think
Stormers
they
did,
did
to be
as
honest.
well. Obviously, I mean, it wasn't going to be a high scoring affair when the pitch is that soggy. Because even after the game started, you could see just the puddles of water on the pitch, and I'm sure I feel bad for the maintenance crew when it finally does dry out because they're going to have a lot of work to do on that. That field's going to be in bad
Yeah,
shape.
with those scrums, man.
Yeah. Oh, scrums couldn't hold anything. I mean, we knew it wasn't going to be a pretty game. Obviously, I did actually pick the Stormers to
Mm.
upset the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls at home aren't nearly as invincible as they used to be.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think they're more invincible if they got a proper fly off, and Villy at
Philly is
15.
not at
Villy
not a
is not a
yeah,
fly off,
no,
mate.
not whatsoever. And we'll get to that in a moment. One last thing I wanted to bring up on the weekend, we can kind of look at the South African pool as far as the URC, the standings. The it is the only plus side I do like about Six Nations is we get nothing but derbies for like a month basically. And I come on, man, tell me that isn't the best rugby is derby rugby. But obviously
Yeah.
the Stormers, who were at one point the lowest ranked URC South African side, they're now at the top of the South African pool. The Lions were at the top; they're now at the bottom, and it's kind of a. I like how they have Sia in the image too, even though when was the last time he actually
He wasn't even
played? Yeah,
playing.
like now this
Yeah.
gentleman, Evan, he had a hell of a game. He
Yeah,
had a hell of a
he had a good
game.
game.
Like I was like, whoa, yeah, like he played great. But I think some big changes are going to be coming to all of these
Yeah.
teams, and we'll start off with one, not the one that you're thinking about first, but we're going to start out with this one. Nahamba is headed to Japan from the Lions. He's
Yeah.
one of those guys that I think we've all said, man, he needs to get capped, and it's just never happened. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him.
See, the problem is that for him, he really is a world class
Yeah.
player. But I mean, there's players just ahead of him, man. Like, who do you have in front of him? You've got Pollard.
Well, I mean,
You've
even at
got
9, we're stacked at 9. We're stacked at
is
10.
he 9?
Well, he can play 9
I
or
thought it
10.
was
He can
10.
play 9 or 10. And I mean, but we're stacked at both of those, and that's the problem. There's just so
Yeah.
many people ahead of him that it's just like if he was playing in any other country, I guarantee you he would be capped already. He would be capped already.
Yeah, yeah.
But because
Yeah.
it's South Africa and it's just but I'm not mad at him. Go get your money, Bubba. Go get that big Japanese paycheck. Go get it, man. Like I got no
Yeah, man. Like, I'm happy for him. Like, I'm honestly as well. I'm like, we said the last time, I think he was actually on
yeah,
the list,
yeah.
when we discussed it last time, when we said players that we'd like to obviously see get capped, and he for sure was one of them. But look, it's hard when you're up against such stiff competition. Um, but yeah, look, I mean, great for
Yeah.
him. I'm happy that he's got a good contract going to Japan, and yeah, I wish him the
Yeah,
best of luck,
there's
man.
no hate there, but the even bigger news here that we've all been anticipating.
Good luck to anybody playing the Bulls next year.
The General of Loftus, as they called him. Jesus Christ, man. Um,
Yeah, from the end of his contract. So that's what, June, July this year.
oh God, I would
Good
kill
news. That's such
to
good
be
fucking news, mate.
living in Pretoria as a Bulls ticket holder. I would be jumping. And I know Rugby Mall was like massively like, oh my God, it's finally happening. And um, I
Yeah,
I think the big and I kind of mentioned it on TikTok. I d- I like what's happening. Obviously, like Sia coming back, Andre is coming back. Jasper Fisa is coming back. Kobus Reinek is coming back. You want to see that, but I think honestly, part of me is like, man, we need to. What's made us so good is we have our guys kind of everywhere. But for every
Yeah,
Pollard, we're getting a Kurt Lee sent over. So like we're still
yeah,
doing that. It's just the senior players are coming back. The guys that at the same age they were when they split are now splitting. These guys are filling in the
yeah.
gaps. We still have talent, and it's like, and I'm glad he's coming back. I mean, it's rightfully so. This is the state that rugby is in South Africa right now. Like they can afford to bring when they left, it was because the rand was weak and they were too poor. Now they're coming back because they can pay contracts, and it's like they want to come back now, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great seeing him in that blue jersey again. It's going to be great seeing him. Oh,
Man, can I just say, like, the Bulls have been struggling at 10, right? They got
that'll be
Goosen, which is basically a fucking glass
he's
jaw,
all
all
the
right?
time. Yeah, but the Chamberlain hasn't really
100%.
panned
He's
out very well either.
100%. So now, let's say Willie takes another year, okay, plays another year for the. He's doable. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth, but I mean, he's like, he's still playing another year. And Willie together on that Bulls back line, man. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
him at 10, Billy at 15. It's going to be
All right.
insane, especially if they get
Yeah.
Cannon Moody healthy, Creel at 12. Like this is going to be a tough ass team next season. They are going to be
Yeah.
a bad,
And who
bad,
they got
bad.
in the forwards, mate?
Oh, I mean, okay, you got
They got
Vandermeer,
Grobler.
Hanekom, Norkia, Hrobler. Lowe will be back next year after breaking his leg. I mean, they're not gonna be. It's gonna be a good team
And
next year.
who's that other prop that was playing yesterday again? I can't remember his name now, but he fucked up the province fucking
Yeah,
scrum,
yeah,
mate.
yeah. Hold on. I'm pretty
God,
sure.
fucking, what's his
Hold on.
name? Vilko Low.
Vilko Lowe, yeah, another.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they're gonna be good next year. Like Bulls fans, I know you're a bit disappointed at times. These guys are going to be fucking contenders next year. Solid. Like, I mean, they've always been contenders. This is going to be it. This is going to take them up another level. They're going to be
100%.
like,
Watch out, Leinster.
watch out Sharks, watch out Lions, watch out Stormers, watch out, yeah, Leinster, watch out everybody, man. Like, getting Andre
Yeah,
Pollard back is going to take the Bulls to the next level. I mean, they're already up there. This is going to give them just that extra push, and it's going to be good to see him play every weekend. Every weekend, get to
100%.
see him play at either.
Happy
But
to see Andre Pollard back there.
it's just great. It's good for rugby. It's good for the URC. It's great for Pretoria. It's great for the Bulls. Vodacom Bulls are going to be stacked next year, and it should be. And if Jake White can't win with this crew, Jake White needs to go. You need to. That's your
Yeah, for
walking
sure.
papers. You need to split.
If he can't beat anybody with them now, bring on Ackerman.
Yes, that. So we'll continue with the good news before we get to the bad news, I guess. Something I did not see happening,
Yeah,
and that's
and
Dr. Rassi Erasmus.
Felix Jones.
Have you seen the list of the coaching staff here at the box now? Jesus. It's like a mad scientist picked the best guys and said, "Hey, we're going to bring you all here." And
Yeah,
I've got no problem with him being back. He was great in the World Cup. I think he was
yeah.
a real big key piece, and
I was actually pretty annoyed when they let him go to fucking England, mate. Like I was honestly like fucking annoyed.
I think Borthwick is going to live to regret this.
100%. We're gonna fucking annihilate the English, right? So this oak was in there. Okay, getting all the like the internal like what? Okay, so he understands what the gameplay is like and what they're trying to evolve to. Okay, not that we needed it, but I mean, now, like, if England ever had a chance, now it's not the chance. Okay, so
I still think that I'm starting to hear it from the Irish people that they're kind of getting sick of Nienaber's kind of influence on
yeah,
the because I mean basically Leinster is the Irish national team, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm starting to hear that, and I'm like, man, wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if Nienaber comes back right before the World Cup? So we have Ireland, we have England, we have New Zealand, we have everyone's tricks at our disposal.
honestly though, honestly though, I don't know if I'd want him back, mate. Like, I was not like, I know he did a great job, and he was like, the placekeeper, I guess, for Rossi. And they obviously made a lot of teams great together with
Yeah,
their thought patterns and influences and whatnot. But I just didn't know, I just didn't like how he was, like, in public, mate, like with other people. So
he wasn't the best on the microphone. Like there were some good
yeah,
bits in that Chasing the Sun, but that's because it's produced. It's made to look good, but
yeah,
he's definitely not He's not Rassy. He's not
yeah,
Rassy, and but I get their relationship. They've known each other since school and that kind of thing. And I mean, I get
yeah,
that, but like bringing back Felix was that's a master stroke, man. That's you're
yeah.
bringing back a coach that is proven that he knows what he's doing. And like if you've got him, Tony Brown, we've got so many just key pieces in our coaching staff. Like these are guys.
Look, man.
Felix
Look,
could be
man.
head coaching a team, and he's not.
Like, to put it to you this way, I mean, the type of coaches they've put in to place coaching
Yeah,
international teams, okay, pretending that these guys are like fucking
yeah,
international coaches when they actually aren't. Okay, this guy has been in and around the mix for years and years, learning from one of the best fucking coaches. I mean, to
yeah,
me, the best
yeah,
coach, but I mean, it's probably everybody will have their own opinion. Okay, learning from somebody like Rassi. Okay, and at the same time adding value to Rassi. Okay, because remember, a lot of that stuff was his
yeah, yeah.
brainchild as
Like
well. Like a
it's
lot of
yeah.
that thought patterns
That's
is
what I'm
his.
saying.
It's just that the difference is that he's got the manpower behind him. Okay, they've got the players that's willing to buy into something. All right, that like that sounds crazy or outlandish or whatever, right? So and they've got the players that buy into this like plans, and those plans have worked. Okay, like we saw it in 2019. Okay, basically a flying V, not being a
Yeah,
flying V. Okay, to push a penalty, right? And that completely broke the spirits of the English players. Okay, that and the fucking motherfucker of a fucking defense that we had, okay, in 2019, that you can't break
yeah,
that wall after attacking it for like 6 7 minutes non-stop on the line, on the line, on the line, like that. And then that flying V, I think that was like what they called
yeah,
the
yeah,
move, I guess. um that was like what broke the spirits of the English, right? So I mean, these guys have got some clever fucking plans, man. Like, so I think bringing back Jones shows that they are actually planning for the next World Cup, mate. Like, they are fucking strong ass contenders. They've got the right people in
I've
place
been yeah,
in the
I've been
coaching
saying
team.
this. If the World Cup started next week, we'd win it. We'd have to be the favorite. I mean, like, and as long as I keep that mentality going, like, that's how I've gauged it. Like, okay, if the World Cup started in 2 weeks, could we win it? Yeah, I think we could. When
Yeah.
I start having that disbelief in that now, like, and like people are like, oh, you're going to be in disbelief this summer or winter for you guys. And I'm like, "Oh, are you talking about
Yeah.
because we play New Zealand 2 times in their backyard, in their house?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, I want to win both games. If
No.
we lose it at Eden Park, I'm gonna be like, everybody loses there.
Yeah.
They still didn't win the World Cup in
100%.
2023, and everybody loses at Eden Park. Like, I'm not gonna take that as like a
Yeah.
now. I don't want to fuck around in that game. I want to win. I want to fucking
Yeah.
win every fucking game in the rugby championship. I want to go undefeated. I want to go back to back. I want to. Yeah, we'll get into the next part. We'll get into the games for this later this year here shortly. But yeah, so we're both in agreement.
Yeah.
Felix Jones coming back. Good, good. Yeah, I agree. I agree. 100%.
Happy days, mate.
So we go from happy days, unfortunately, and I mean, like, not necessarily sad days, but I mean,
It was expected.
his wife commented on my post and said,
Yes,
and
you
and
mentioned.
Steven Kitsoff, unfortunately, the surgery it just wasn't enough. He's
Mm,
decided he's
mm,
announced that he's retired. Um, 80 plus
mm.
caps, 2 Rugby World Cups, URC Championship, Rugby Championship, Curry. I mean, he's won all of those trophies, and
Yeah.
just an amazing prop. Just a what a fucking workhorse. Just
Yeah.
not.
But let's be honest though, he was a little bit long in the tooth in the last couple of
Yeah, he
games he
was getting
played.
age was starting to catch up
Um,
with him a bit, and I think he still.
but he was at one stage he was
Yeah,
one of
I
my
mean, he
favorites.
still would have made the next World Cup. Maybe not as a starter.
Mm,
Maybe would have not played every game, that kind of thing. But like, um,
mm.
I had said when I made the video about it, and I'll probably post it here on YouTube at some point. It's like when you're an athlete, you go out one of 3 ways: either father time, or you can go out by injury. And there's 2 ways: you either go out by an injury and you're done, or Kitsoff was still somewhat in the prime of his career. He was still when he was making posts saying, "I'm not
Yeah.
done, I'm coming back." That's because he legitimately believed and wanted to do that. And then unfortunately, his injury, I mean, being
Yeah.
that he's a prop and it's a neck injury, you can't muck around with that. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't think that guy's wife wanted to be feeding him steaks through a straw for the rest of his
Yeah,
life. You know
true.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and that's the smart thing. He
Yeah.
decided, hey, look, I saw his first interview the day he announced his retirement, and you could just tell on his face that, like, he wasn't. Yeah,
That's
he
broken,
wasn't
man.
ready. He some people
He was like Rocky in every fucking Rocky fight,
after
like
the second
movie
second
after
movie,
number
yeah,
three.
like, it was just you could just tell he had so much more to prove, and like I said, I let him know,
Yeah.
"You didn't go out like a chump, dude. You didn't go out like a wimp. You went out
Mm.
like a warrior,"
Yeah.
which is what when you're a
Yeah.
Springbok fan, that's exactly how you expect your boys to go out. You expect them to go out
Yeah.
guns blazing. You don't just become this sad sack of unless you're Elton Yankees, but like it's just you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want them to go out like that. You want them to go out
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
with their head like when Franz Stain went out. Like he went out with
Yeah.
the last video I think that anybody posted of him still playing professionally was after a game in Bloemfontein. One of the fans is like, "Hey, have a beer with me," and he like runs up and skulls this fucking beer, and that's like that's your last.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, he still had it. He still had it. He still had it. Like it was just
Yeah. His legs were fucked.
fucked
His knees were
up.
fucked. But I mean, look, with
Yeah,
Stephen Kitsoff, to be to be quite frank, okay, he was an integral part of the bomb squad. Okay. Either
yeah,
starting or coming off the bench,
yeah,
doesn't matter. Okay. He was part of that made that switch over between the two
yeah,
front rows so important, right? So we all we have to do is we salute him, thank him for his service because he really put it down
yeah,
on the line
yeah,
every single game that he played, and I've got a hell of a lot of respect for him. Like I said, I was a bit, little bit annoyed with a
yeah,
couple of his
yeah,
last
definitely.
games, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's still like a cuck player, right? Because I mean, he played over 80 caps, as we said, and probably hundreds of games for the Stormers. never really left his team. Um, did great things there. And at the end of the day, man, like we all we can do is we can be thankful for everything he's done for the sport. Everything he's done for the props coming up, like after him, like he laid the foundation that other people can build upon, right? So good on you, Stephen Kitsoff, man. Keep up the great work. With all your endeavors. I know they've got that bomb
Have
squad
you
rugby
tried the beer yet? Have you
deal.
tried his beer
I
yet?
haven't, but now I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna
'Cause
drink
it's
it
I think
one on Stephen Kitsoff.
yeah, it's him and Malcolm Marks started
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
beer company, and we can't get it here in the US. I've got some
yeah.
friends in the UK that have gotten it and said it's not bad and, like, it's a pretty good
It's
beer.
pretty expensive though. Eh?
Is it? Well, because I think
Yeah.
it's a
Mm,
microbrewery, I think is what you'd call it,
mm.
but, I mean, like I
I think
said
it's like I looked at it in the week. In fact, it's like
yeah,
38 rand for one
yeah, yeah.
can,
Oh,
and
shit.
I mean you can get one. You can get like a castle for like $20.
Yeah,
So
20.
yeah,
Jesus. But like I said, no disrespect to Steven. You've had a great, great career. And hats off to you. And like I said, don't go out with your head down. Go out with your head up. You went
mm,
out like a soldier. You got taken out by injury. And
yeah.
I'm sure his wife and him, and I'm sure they'll have fun. And I mean, like honestly, I could see him on the sidelines with a microphone. Like I could see him doing.
He won 2 World Cups, mate.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Like
you can't
he
take that fucking away from him, mate. Like
nobody.
he was. Mm. So it's
So
sad to hear, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
So now on to some we'll do some funny news and then we'll do some Bach news. But this came out this week and I just as soon as it came out, I was just like, where have I seen this before? So Super Rugby did their Marvel collection. We
Oh
already did
fuck. Okay.
this a couple of
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago with the SA
Mm.
teams. I actually won't lie. I do have one of these in the back of my closet. I have the Bulls one in the back of my closet. But I when this came out, like, and it was thankfully it was New Zealand, so they were like, yeah, we've seen this before. South Africa did it already, and
Yeah.
they were the Kiwis were really pissed. The Hurricanes fans did not want to be Captain America. Nobody wanted to be Captain America. They were like, we should have been Wolverine because of the color scheme. And I'm like, I I
Yeah.
I kind of agree, but
Yeah.
did you like these jerseys when these came out in South Africa? Were you just kind of like those are stupid? Like they're good for kids, but like I was never a comic book person, so
Look, man, I love the movies. I like the
okay,
I like the movies. Um, but on the jerseys, I don't own any one of them.
yeah,
Because I was never really that big a fan. I normally have like the normal Bulls jersey
yeah,
or the
yeah.
back in the day when that was still being worn. I was a Stormers supporter, so I had a normal Stormers jersey. And but yeah, like for me, I'm more of a international fan.
Yeah.
Um, so my jersey collection is generally Springboks related. So not so much the like the other ones. But yeah, no, I only had like a normal Stormers jersey.
I yeah, like I said, I get I think the problem I have with them is that like it's a limited edition thing, so they put like a premium price on it, and I wouldn't pay a
Mm.
premium price for that crap. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't because it's like it's a novelty jersey, and it's just to me, there's just nothing like it's cool. I know that like it's a promotion and kids like it and stuff like that, and people like the Marvel movies, but to me, it's like I don't. I just would rather. I mean,
I
I
think ours was just normal price, eh?
yeah, like I like here in America, it's pretty common to do like military appreciation jerseys in sports, so they'll be like camouflage, and I have a couple of ice hockey jerseys that are military appreciation, and I think
Yeah.
those are cool because it's like the camouflage. Like this, it's like I said, I'm not like the biggest fan of like Marvel or anything like that, so that's probably why it doesn't really have a big grab for me. But um, I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's good for sponsorship. It's good for all that. It does pump money into clubs, but I'm not the
No,
big.
it's great. It's great for the Kiwis trying to be like South Africans. So it's great.
Yeah, exactly. So we will move on to some great news as we have gotten this finally we've got the dates and venues locked down for the home fixtures for the Springboks this year. Italy at
Yeah.
Loftus, Italy at Eastern Cape. Is that yeah? I don't know how. Look, I'm still going to call it Port Elizabeth because I don't know how to say the name that they give it now. Do you know how to say that? How do you say that?
Oh, bro, don't even fucking try,
Cahueta
man.
or something
I'm
like
just
that.
Kabeja or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Fuck, I
So
can't.
Nelson Mandela Bay, and then
Yeah.
Mombella and Nelspruit, which is just to the east of you. How far is Nelspruit from Joburg?
It's about 3 hours drive,
Have you
at least.
driven there before? Have you been to Nelspruit before?
Yep, yep. Yeah. I've been there before.
Okay,
I've been there on business. I've been there on
okay.
business twice or three times now.
That's
Yeah.
in what state is that in? That's in
And actually, I lived there for when I was small as well. When I
okay.
was when I
What
was
what state
licensed.
is that? Not that's not that's
Mpumalanga.
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 Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
biggest city I think in that state. So
yeah.
that will be
It's pretty there. Eh?
Georgia.
Going up to
Oh,
Nelspruit, it's pretty as
is it?
fuck. Eh? It's like very like
Is it because
very
are you going up
lush.
in the high? Is it the mountains? Are you leading?
Yeah, it's very lush
Okay,
there,
okay.
and
So it's great in
it's a
there.
pretty area.
Okay, so that will be Georgia. That's going to be a fun game. After that last year with Portugal, I enjoy those games. I mean, we're going to beat the brakes off of them, but it's
Yeah,
fun to watch.
yeah, man. I feel sorry for
And
Italy,
then
mate. Like,
they're going to get fucking
yeah,
destroyed. No, you know what? I think we use these games as a chance to blood in a lot of
yeah,
guys. All three of those
yeah.
games are going to be easy peasy in my book,
Look, I
but
mean,
they're going to be
Georgia
entertaining.
is always a like a front battle, I guess, if you want to call it that. They're quite tough people, like tough players. But I don't think they got a fucking chance in a snowball's chance in hell to win that game.
Well,
And
well,
then
they do have one thing in common with the Springboks. You know what that is,
tell me,
right?
man,
That's a 100% Georgian team.
100%. And then Italy,
There ain't no Russians. Italy is mixed. Everybody else
Italy
is
in itself, though,
Argentina is one.
Italy's got some
Yeah,
good
Argentina
backlines.
is one.
They got,
Yeah, but it's
mm,
not like
but I
yeah. I
mean, one
mean
player doesn't make a
Georgia.
team, though.
Yeah, but I like that about Georgia, Argentina, Uruguay,
Yeah,
Chile, like the South Africa. We're teams that are 100% made up of what that country has.
yeah.
So then we have the 2 games, versus Australia, aka the punching bag from down under. That's what those games will basically be. We're probably going to beat the
Man,
dog shit out of
first on Ellis Park, okay? That's where we're gonna break their fucking spirits, okay? Because that's high up in altitude. Then we're gonna go
yeah,
to the fucking coastline, and then we're gonna make them want to swim back to fucking Australia. So,
and shark infested
yeah,
water. Um, and then the one last one we get, Hollywood Bets, Durban, which we don't really have the greatest record of playing there.
yeah,
I hate playing test matches there because we just don't.
mm.
It's the humidity, it's everything. The other Argentina game, they Argentina gave up their host game this year with the Springboks. It's going to be at Twickenham Stadium. That's the last game of the Rugby Championship because I guess England wants to see real rugby.
Yeah. Well, that you know what, that is a very shrewd of you to have noticed that that's what they want to do with that, and I totally agree.
Well, do you remember in the lead up to the last World Cup, we had they had Fiji and England at Twickenham that didn't even sell
Yeah,
out, and then All Blacks versus Springboks fucking sold out
yeah.
immediately. Like that's how bad that. Again, I know it was a lot of expats living there, and that's fine and that's cool, but it just shows you that like even England is like, yeah, let's bring in some real rugby here for the game. So Um, uh, that's the fixtures at least through the first part of the year. We do have the Northern Tour. This one is for some reason we're still playing fucking Wales for some reason, but we get to play France and Ireland on this tour this time,
Yeah.
and that's going to be. I want to break both of those teams
Ah,
at home.
fuck.
That's going to be
That
a
would be
necessity.
great, mate. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's so great that they got Felix Jones back. That's later in the year. Gives us time to prepare. And for sure, those are two teams that we have to put in place just so they fucking understand who they're fucking with. Okay. And go and beat them in their fucking home crowd, in front of their home crowds, mate. Like that's what we want.
So the next thing we got one other thing I had saved, but I want to bring this up just because it needs to be brought up.
Who are we telling shit?
Oh, let me see if I can expand this out so you can see what we're looking at
There
here.
we go.
So this would be the New Zealand versus Ireland game in Chicago. Okay, this is the problem here is that when they did this in 2017, the tickets were
Yeah.
$65. Okay, the cheapest ticket is $300 to this. Let me see if I can show you the real expensive ones here because there's like $1,100 US for one ticket.
Who the fuck, man? Like that's like for that normal seat there at $302. That's like 5.5 grand, man.
So that $302 ticket will show you where that is. Go back. I'll show you where the two tickets, 604 USD. So let me explain to you what happened here. So the tickets, they had a pre-sale on the tickets that you had to get the pre-sale code through either the Irish IRFU or the NZRU, and you could get them at face value at that. And those face value tickets were about 75 US
Yeah,
dollars.
that's
Okay,
fair.
that was face.
That's fair.
But this is America, where Ticketmaster and Live Nation, who also does all the big concert tours, they allow scalpers to buy everything up. So those $75 tickets became $300 tickets immediately. The game is a sold out. It's already sold out
Yeah.
because scalpers bought all of the tickets. I have a friend in Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. She's going to make the drive up because for them it's only like a 6 hour, 7 hour drive.
Yeah.
She bought 4 tickets, upper deck, $1,200. Okay. Take in mind in 2017 when I went, I had middle section, not lower deck, not upper deck. I paid $65 a piece.
Yeah. It's a
$65.
fucking joke, mate.
Um,
Like if you're trying to grow the sport in the US, mate, like you need to make it affordable for people to watch the game.
well, it's not just that 2017 match as well as the 2021 or 2022 USA versus New Zealand match in DC. USA Rugby was in charge of those or had a piece of that because that 2017 match where Ireland and the All Blacks played the game the day before it was the day before, it might have been this, it was the day before the Māori All Blacks played the USA Eagles at Bridgestone, which is like a smaller Major League Soccer stadium away from the
Mm.
city, and those tickets were like $30, and I mean, like, it's not a very big stadium, so there wasn't a bad seat in the house. But then you go for the All Blacks in Ireland, and it was $65, which I'm okay with paying that because it's
Yeah.
it's the All Blacks in Ireland. You're watching top sides. I think the All Blacks at that time had like an 18 game winning streak that Ireland ended.
Yeah.
Um, but this particular game is not being put on by USA Rugby. It's being put on by a private corporation,
Yeah.
and they're not worried. They're not concerned about growing the game in America. They're concerned about making money, and
Mm.
the game will probably be televised for free here in the US on cable, obviously, but it's. I wanted to go to it. I'm not going. I'm not paying three. I'm dude. I wouldn't pay $100 to go to that. I would pay
Yeah.
65, $70 a ticket. I'm not paying $300 for a ticket to watch the All Blacks in Ireland, which kind of segues into the next thing I have to bring mentioned anywhere else on social media. You're getting this first.
Oh, let's hear. Right here, folks. The first exclusive.
It's going to take a second to load up here. Come on, there we go. Reports are saying All Blacks, Springboks, 2026 coming to the U.S.
Yeah.
I would pay 300 for that. Let's quit fooling ourselves. I would pay 300.
Bro, you mustn't say that out loud because now these fuckers going to be out there, is going to be buying up tickets and
Hey
contacting
man,
you
I
for
got $300
$300 a
tickets.
fucking ticket.
No, I think it's supposed to be because they're going to play 4 times in 2026, and this one of the neutral
Yeah.
site games they're looking at holding here in the U.S. And there will be no question. I will be at that game. There will be no question. Hell or high.
Let's hope they hold it in Texas, mate. Like that would be awesome.
Dude, I'm willing to bet it'll probably be out west. It'll either be out in California
Yeah,
or it'll be in
probably.
Atlanta, Georgia. Now, if they're smart, they'll do it in Atlanta,
Yeah.
Georgia. And the reason you're like, why Atlanta? Atlanta has a huge South African population. So it's like they would be
Yeah.
there. We would be brying in the parking lot before the game. We would go in, we would watch our boys march to victory proudly with the I'll probably paint my face with I'll have obviously all my Springbok stuff on. I will probably have a flag painted on my face as well. So um
Here we go.
if they do that, yeah, like I hope it's run properly. It's not going to be that same company
Mm.
that did this Ireland one because that's an Irish company that's doing that. So that whole thing in Chicago, I think that's really to generate revenue for the IRFU and the NZRU more than anything. It's not about growing rugby in America.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I hope this does, man. But because what do you have? Two of the best teams in the world facing off. Two of the biggest rivals in sport facing off in your backyard. Current world champion holders versus
former world.
the second team. Well,
Yeah,
versus the second team that they played in the final in that World Cup. All right. And the second most fucking World Cup winners in the world facing each other in your backyard, mate. Like that like for us it's like something that we see all the time. But I mean for the US that should be something fucking massive, mate,
that's a real
for
game.
the
That's a
sport.
real game. I've tried to
Yeah.
explain to people, and it's like, look, I fucking hate the All Blacks when we play them, but I think that like that's really the only team that is like they have my respect. Like I
Yeah.
respect the All Blacks. They have my respect.
But they've built that upon years and years of
Yes, yeah.
success. Uh, they've built that on years and years of hard grinding. They're a small fucking country that always seems to be able to compete. Why? Because their culture breathes, eats, and sleeps fucking rugby, right? When you grow up, that's what you want to be. You want to be a rugby player. That's what everybody strives to. So for sure, it's a team that like their supporters are just as avid as what South African supporters are. Uh,
It's
Maybe 90% there,
yeah.
but I mean, like they're
It's
there. You know what I
I
mean?
can say at least on personal experience, it's the only other country where when you meet kids growing up playing rugby, like they dream of putting on that black jersey. Now you're seeing it in South Africa a lot now, where the kids you're talking to them, they're
Yeah,
dreaming about being a Springbok one day. And it's like I
yeah,
know it's always been
yeah,
there, but like that's gotten much wider in South Africa in the last several
yeah.
years. I'd say in the last 5 years, you're starting to see it more that like kids are looking at that like as that's the ultimate goal. In New Zealand, it's been like that for a generation. South
Bro,
Africa
I have to tell
isn't.
you, I don't think I know one person that does not own a Springbok jersey.
I
I
own I
honestly
own like
don't know one.
I own like 8 of them. So
Yeah. So honestly, like everybody in South Africa, when the Springboks are playing, they are Springbok supporters. Okay, unless they're New Zealand supporters, because we know there's a small contingent in Cape Town that's
Well,
big
you're
New Zealand
starting to
supporters,
see a
right?
lot of them now. They're
Yeah,
converting to being because it's like I saw a comedian, is a South African comedian, kind of talking about like how can you be an All Blacks fan? Are you saying it's because you like their wide, expansive play? They don't do that anymore. We do.
yeah,
You like
yeah,
heavy hitting. They don't do that anymore. We do. You like this. They don't do any of that anymore. We do that now. And he was obviously a colored guy because he was from the Western Cape. And he was like, and if it's that you can't see us in the team, and he just puts up like Damian, Kirtley, Kanan, everybody on the Cheslin, everybody, and was like, "This is our team now, guys. Like, you can't say
yeah.
this isn't our team anymore. This is really our team now. Like, it's no
We're
longer
represented.
you're not, yeah, like we get it, you were an All Blacks fan 10, 15, 20 years ago because they were the best and they represented and you felt like that, and he's like, but you can't say that about the Springboks, and they represent you now. Like, it's like,
Yeah,
and like I said, I got nothing against it. If somebody tells me, hey, who's your favorite rugby international side? And they tell me the All Blacks, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I don't sit there and say, oh, you're wrong. No, no, by all means, it's good to be an All Black fan. But now, if they tell me they're Wallabies fans, I just laugh, laugh at them and go, why, why?
right. Like, you should be going like this. I'm a Wallabies fan.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we saw. I didn't. Let me see. I don't know if I have it saved here, but
I wouldn't fucking say it out loud. If I was a Wallaby supporter, I wouldn't be saying it out loud to fucking no one outside my country, mate. Like, I would say only to other fucking Aussies. I would never say it to anybody else. I'd be like too fucking ashamed to say it,
yeah,
because it's like, fuck, man. Like, I would first support Wales before I support Australia, mate.
I've got a
Like, and
Wales jersey on the way. I've got a Wales jersey on the way. One of
and
my followers is sending me one. So,
and to be quite frank, Wales is shit at the moment, mate. But I would still support them above Australia.
yeah, it's kind of speaking of Australia, I called it. I said Joe Schmidt would not make it. Yeah, he's done after the rugby championship. He's done. He's saying it's like a medical issue. I knew he wasn't. And of course, who's been seen hanging around Australia once again? Michael Cheika. I bet you
Yeah,
Michael Cheika is their next coach. Um, with that being said,
Michael, Michael Checo's not a bad coach, though.
no, I fucking love Michael Cheika.
Yeah,
He's great. Like, the best the
yeah,
Wallabies ever were under
yeah,
him. But a lot of Wallabies fans are like, he's the reason our rugby went to shit. And I'm like, no, the AFL and the NRL is why your rugby went to shit because you don't care about union anymore.
yeah,
Speaking of which, we chit chatted about this before the live. The NRL was on TV here last night in the US, and I'm not talking behind a paywall or on cable or on satellite. Like, if you had like rabbit ears, like an antenna, you could watch
yeah,
NRL live on TV here in the US last night. They had the uh, league weekend NRL slash Super League, which is the English equivalent, league weekend in Las Vegas every year now. And there were 45,000 fans, including several of my friends at the event. It was on at every sports bar in America last night. And if you want to watch our domestic rugby competition here in the US or any rugby, you've got to pay here to watch it. It's not on
yeah,
TV here. And like, that is not a good sign to me. Like, dude,
yeah,
like, and I know they spent money. They had to spend a lot of money for that, but that's what you're gonna have to do to make it work here. Is you're gonna have to spend massive loads of money. Um,
Look, man, for like, are you guys fucking like hosting the fucking NRL World Cup in
so,
fucking couple of
so
years time?
believe it or not, 2017 the U.S. was supposed, or 2021 the U.S. was supposed to host the Rugby League World Cup.
Yeah,
Uh, it got moved to England at the last minute because we couldn't lock down venues for it. Like, I know Levi Stadium, which is where the 40 San Francisco 49ers play, That
Yeah.
was supposed to be where the final was gonna be held. They were gonna hold it all on the West Coast. They couldn't get stadiums locked down for it. So, um, as somebody that's traveled the US quite extensively, league is big in pockets here. It's the West Coast predominantly is where it's big,
Yeah.
but, even the local we have a Tongan community here in North Texas and Euless. That's why their high school football team is, like, one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
They play league. The Tongans there, they play league. They don't really play union anymore, and,
Mm.
it's and I hate to say it, like, I'm not the biggest league fan. I know South Africans don't give a fuck about league. I know, and the reason I know this is because your league team played the USA team last month or the month before at some park in Pretoria, and there was, like, nobody there. It was fucking terrible, like, because nobody it's
Dude, nobody gives a fuck
yeah,
about rugby
in South
league,
Africa,
okay, in
yes,
South Africa, okay? We care about
and
fucking
sevens
union,
to an
okay?
extent, and
Rugby's fucking
sevens to
union.
an extent, but, like,
Yeah, look, I mean, we Sevens fans, but I mean, um, by far, like if you go by brand, the Springboks
yeah,
are for sure the biggest brand
no question.
from sports, anyways, in South Africa. Um, so for me, it's just a concern in the US. If considering you guys are hosting the Rugby Union World Cup, I'm just saying that again, Rugby
Because Americans
Union
don't
World
know the
Cup,
difference.
um,
Americans don't know the
and
difference.
funny enough, you're not doing fuck all to fucking grow the sport in the US, but you are fucking putting NRL like free to watch on fucking television, but you're not putting in rugby union games. Like, what the fuck
It
is
was
going
on
on? Like, if you want to be
yeah,
fucking hosting the World Cup,
it was on Fox.
do something the
It was on
years leading up to
Fox
it.
prime time, Saturday night. Like, and I
That's a
mean,
joke,
like,
mate.
even like soccer or football, as everyone else calls it, soccer. Like, you can turn on, like, I could turn on NBC right now. Maybe not right now. What time is it? 11 a.m. No, I bet you they're showing a premiership game on NBC right now. Soccer. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're supposed to be
Look,
growing the
bro.
sport, and
Like,
we're not. We're
let's
not. Period.
let's let's just fucking be open about this, right? I've not met one American or seen one American that does not instantly become a massive rugby union fan on YouTube, okay, when they're
Yeah,
reacting to fucking rugby, okay? Instant fans, okay? The only thing these motherfuckers need to do is make it accessible for people to watch this fucking sport. And there they go, they've got their fans, okay? Because the people, they enjoy the aggression of hockey, they enjoy the speed and agility of fucking something like
yeah.
NFL, okay? Now you got all these things being put together and you got the rugby union. Okay, so what the fuck is going on? Like, just make it
Yeah.
accessible for people to want to watch the sport, mate. Like, it's not that
I've
difficult.
been trying to. Well, look at what happened in the last couple of years in South Africa. You had Minister McKenzie go to the TV networks and say, "Hey, look, we need to make these games easily watchable for everyone. When the Springboks play, everybody needs to watch."
Yeah,
And the cable companies bent back and said, "Yes, we'll do this." Like, we need that here, but I mean, it's not. It's just it's different here, and I hate to say that so much, but it is. It's different here, and like I said, you hit the nail on the head. You're saying what needs to be said. I have a colleague or a friend in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia area who's actually from Canada, but he was on the board with
yeah,
USA Rugby and like all this kind of stuff, and he's just like we're it's because the people now running USA Rugby are not rugby people. They're NBA, ex NBA execs, National Basketball
yeah,
Association execs. They don't know what they're doing. And it's like, I can't, like I said, for all the Americans that I've taken to their very first rugby game, and take in mind, our club team here, the Jackals, didn't win a single game their first year. They were fucking terrible, okay? There were two things that I never heard come out of their mouth, and it was never like, this sucks. They were like, no, this is cool. When's the next game? I'm coming back. Yeah. Here's the schedule. Come on out. If you need a ticket, call me. I'll get you a ticket. Like it's not because it's a game that's aggressive. It's fast. It's moving. Yeah, there's rules and laws you have to kind of learn, and you learn that as you go along. But like it's, I think, like I said, the biggest selling point on rugby to me to America is the fact that after the game is over, these guys don't get in their Maseratis and go to their mansions. They come up and talk to you, and if there's beer available, hey, you want to have a beer? Yeah, let's have a beer together. You know what I mean? Like it's still got. We've talked about this with the Springboks many times. Those guys, if they weren't playing rugby, we could all see them having regular jobs. Like I could see, Peter Steph being sitting on a fucking tractor in the middle of a farm. Like I'm pretty sure that's what he does when he's not playing rugby, anyways. But like you could see Eben Etzebeth as a fucking cop or a UFC fighter. You know what I mean? Like these guys, they're humans. They're not. We don't put them. They're not Tom Brady. They're not up on this like mountaintop high. They're not LeBron James. They're not any of these guys. They're just normal oaks. Like Andre Pollard was mowing his lawn himself when he got called saying, "Hey, we need you for the World Cup." He was mowing his fucking lawn, dude. Like you pay somebody to do that when you're rich here. Andre is rich and he's doing that shit himself because guess what? He's just a normal dude. Like it's um and then we see
Man, I tell you,
yeah.
Pollard to me always seemed a bit dry to me previously. Like,
Yeah.
but then I saw him on a podcast with that scrum off from England.
Yeah, I know which one
What's
the
that,
podcast
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So and man, he's actually such a fucking cool look. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
honestly I found different respect for him, like for sure. Okay, like before that, I thought fucking brilliant player, but he seems so dry. Like because he's just always so cool, calm, and collected. You like
Yeah,
under pressure, and he's just like,
yeah, yeah.
and you're like, but he's actually got a fucking sense of humor, and he talks a lot of shit, and like
Yeah.
so. I found like he is exactly what you're saying now is what I'm saying is like
Yeah.
he's
He's just
just
a
another
normal
oak.
dude.
Like
Just
he's
a
just a
normal
normal
dude.
oak. So,
Like
so
it's yeah. It's kind of like when we when Eben and Sia reconnected at the Sharks, and I think it was like an Instagram post where you had like Sia's got a smiling face and Eben's got a smiling face or a serious face, and then Sia has a serious face and Eben still has that serious face that he always has. And it's kind of like in reality that like Eben probably laughs a fucking lot, but when he's
yeah,
Eben Etzebeth on the field, that goes away.
yeah, he never laughs.
He's a soldier, he's a warrior on the field, and it's like you love that about him, and it's like I said if I ever had to leave my kid, if Eben was living next door to me and I had to, "Hey, I need to run to the market, Eben, can you watch my kid for a little bit?" "Yeah, yeah, sure, I got it, man." The worst thing that I think would happen with Eben is I'm gonna come back and he's gonna be doing, like, arm curls, like dumbbell curls with my kid in his hand, you know what I mean? Or he's gonna be sitting on the couch and my kid's gonna be climbing on top of, you know what I mean? Like, because that
Yeah,
that's what he's like, or like,
bro, that guy's hands are so fucking massive. He probably like grabbing your kid around the waist and doing an arm curl.
you know, like you can see that, or like with Sia coming back and he's watching like cartoons with your kid and eating junk food because that's what kind of person Sia Khaleesi, I mean, and you don't see that. Like, I wouldn't trust my teenage daughter alone around like LeBron James, yes, maybe, but like some of like these younger athletes and stuff like that because they're going to try and smash. I wouldn't worry about
Yeah.
that. Now, if my daughter was of age, she's not hanging around Damian Valemza because that dude just looks like he's a fucking.
He's got a fuck ton of notches on his belt. Let's put it that way.
He's still young. He's a young shooter. He's still a young shooter. He's still out there in them streets. But like a guy like Sia or Eben or Franz or any, any Bongi, I'll tell you what. If I love my kid with Oxen Che, I already know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna yell at Oxen Che when I get back because he sat and fed my kids sweets for the entire fucking time.
chocolate fucking cake and
Yeah, like, and you're like, "Dude, she's not gonna go to sleep tonight." And he's like, "Yeah, but salads don't win scrums." Like, it's um, and that's what I said, like, I
yeah.
want Americans to be sold on that idea that, like, hey, not only are these guys, like, great athletes, the I guess the culture of rugby is for you to be a good fucking person too.
Yeah.
Like you see
Except if
somebody,
you're English.
you could just be a scumbag piece of shit. Dude, I tried watching the 2nd season of, like, the Six Nations thing on Netflix.
Yeah.
I got a minute and a half into the 1st episode and turned it off, and you wanna know why?
Tell me.
The 1st episode starts off with Marcus Smith buying, like, some expensive ass SUV sports car kinda thing, and then doing a meeting with a hair and makeup company, and I'm like, "Dude, this is fucking dumb." Click. Like, I don't when Pfaff did the L'Oreal hair product commercial,
Yeah.
okay? You get Cheslin in there because you know everybody's making fun of him for this, and he's making
Yeah,
fun of
yeah,
himself for it. And I'm
yeah,
not mad at Pfaff the clerk for doing that because damn, he does have a beautiful head of hair.
yeah.
We can say this,
And
you know?
he's making some money.
And he's making like, I don't have anything against Pfaff the clerk doing that because he knows everybody's going to make fun of him for it, but it's like, "Hey, he does have nice hair. Let him pimp hair product for all he." I don't fucking care, like, it doesn't I don't look down at him for that. I think I had shot you a message, maybe I was watching via SuperSport, so I was watching your feed, and I saw Dwayne Vermeulen doing dog food commercials, man.
Yeah.
I would buy that dog food. It might be shit, but I would buy it Dwayne Vermeulen, man. If he's endorsing it, it's gotta be at least okay dog food. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
you don't
probably hella expensive fucking good dog food though.
but I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't knock
Yeah.
Dwayne Vermeulen for doing dog food commercials. It's like, fuck no, man. It's a paycheck. Do your thing, Bubba. You know, sell dog food or like,
Yeah.
um,
But the
when
joke is that there's a lot of play on actual people there with the
yeah,
like because there's so many different dog breeds and like each one of them almost represent a different rugby player or
exactly.
type of rugby player. So it's quite cool.
So, yeah, your dog would be the Dwayne Vermeulen dog.
Yeah, 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 yeah. My pit bull
Big
would be
big
the
old bub.
Colonel.
Um, or like, God, do you remember when Eben made that, like, cameo on that soap opera series in South
Oh God.
Africa?
Oh God. Like I was like, please never act again.
But it was hilarious, like, you know, I mean, it was terrible, but at the same time, it was kind of
Yeah.
hilarious because it was like, you know, this girl is all hot for him, and he's just Evan. Or who was it? Was it Spark that was doing like the commercials where the guys were like
God, yeah.
reading bedtime stories and shit, or like, oh, I brought him, oh, you know, and it's like you laugh about it, but that's the
Yeah.
marketability of this game to the people, to the fans. These athletes are marketable because they're normal fucking people. Like they're not,
Yeah. People can relate to them. That's the difference,
yeah,
right? Like you can see yourself as that guy. You can see yourself like like being friends with that guy. You can see all
yeah,
these type of things. It's not like it's this unattainable thing, like on a, as you mentioned, like on a mountain,
yeah.
looking down, like at all the peasants down there, type thing. It's it's not that. It's like you can be friends with all of these players, mate. Like it's just how
Okay,
it is.
one last one, and we'll do this because it's not a part of the list, but since we're on the subject of that, you're having a braai at your house, okay? You need 2
Yeah.
Springboks to man the braai, you need a Springbok to man the bar, and you need a Springbok to be the DJ. Who are you picking for each?
Yes, that's a tough one. You probably have on the DJ side of it, you probably have somebody like Valenza.
Because he's young and he's hip.
Yeah. And you can just see him always like, being that guy,
Yeah,
like
with the
playing some,
turntables and kinda like, yeah, like, "How you
yeah,
like this mix? Keep going," like,
yeah.
yeah, you can
I
he'd
can
put
see him doing
shades
that.
on. He'd put shades on, yeah.
On the Bri, I'd probably put one of the props, man,
I think
because
you would
they
have to.
don't they don't look like that because they braai cock. You know what I mean? Like they have to know how to get some proper meat. So probably somewhere like Ox and Che. Um, and fuck man, who else? Who else would I put there? Uh, fuck, must it be current like Springboks?
Yeah, guys that are currently in form.
I was gonna say Dwayne, but I mean Dwayne is a bit.
He's
He's
retired.
retired now. Yeah, so
It is funny. I am going with the same fielder. I would pick Ox. I would pick Damien for the DJ. My other guy manning the Bry. I'm putting Peter Stuff to toy on that bitch because he's gonna know a
makes
good
sense.
steak. Like Ox can cook everything. Peter's gonna know when it's properly done. And then
No, for
Manning,
sure.
and then behind the bar. Oh
Fuck.
man,
Do you really want any of the Springboks? Because I think they drink hard, man. Like all of them.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I have a tendency to believe that there's gonna be one or two guys that really know how to like really mix proper drinks and pour properly. And I hate to say it, I would probably put Sia behind the bar.
I was gonna say Pollard.
Andre, yeah, because he's gonna know how to mix the drinks proper too and get them just right. And I mean, I would put
And
him.
and just because he also, um, as I mentioned in my previous conversation, he just like brought something else out that I didn't see before.
Yeah, his
And so I
personality.
think, yeah, I think I would enjoy having him there. So for sure, I'd have him pour the drinks.
I think he'd be the kind of cat you could walk up to too and be like, "I want something to drink, but I don't really know what I want." And then he'd ask a few questions like, "I've got just the thing for you," and mix up something. You know what I mean? Just proper for you. It's
Yeah,
like I just yeah, like, but that's like the point. Like, if I
yeah.
if I was to ask you, what would you have Tom Brady doing at a Bry? You don't really know because it's
No,
you
I
just
wouldn't have him doing anything. I'd probably not even invite him. He looks like too much of a douchebag,
well,
to
but
be
you get
honest.
what I'm
Like when
saying.
I saw him, yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
But I
like
mean, like
I,
it's because I guess he's put on that pedestal
yeah,
that you just don't you feel like it's going to be stuffy at the bride the whole time.
yeah,
It's like you can't really let loose. You can't really like you're too afraid you're gonna offend the fucking
yeah.
guy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like I wouldn't want him at my bride, to be honest.
Like
Just like
it's
when I
yeah.
took him. So
When Makazole Mumbibi went home in 2023 after he fractured his cheekbone and wasn't playing in the video that came out where he's at like the Checkers shopping. He might have been at a Checkers or he might have been at I think it might have been a
yeah,
Spar. Anyways, he was somewhere grocery shopping and he's just shopping. Like it's not like he has an entourage or anything and then he gets up to the front and
mm,
everybody starts singing and dancing and he's just kind of like I just want to get my shit and go, like thank you
yeah,
guys, thank you guys. But it's like that's you I could see being at, like, the market and seeing Eben's tall ass coming down the opposite aisle or you know what I mean? Like, with his
yeah,
wife and kid and just grabbing you know what I mean? Like, you
yeah,
couldn't see Tom Brady or LeBron James doing that. You could see Andre Pollard doing that. You could see Audrey Snyman doing that. You could see those guys just being
mhm,
at the grocery store like you and me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like granted,
yeah,
they don't have the budgetary concerns that we have when we go to the market, but like it's just you just kind of see that and like, um, it's just that's what I love about it, and I wish that's if America wants to market the game properly, I think that's a big thing that they really need to key in on is that like these guys are normal dudes that just are
mhm,
gifted athletes, and you got Shador Sanders not even wanting to work out for the NFL Combine, and that doesn't fly in rugby. You don't get that like, oh, you're just going to be it because no, you have to prove yourself every game, every Springbok. They have to prove
100%.
themselves. Like it's not.
And Rassi's shown it. He'll take you off at the 39th minute if you play shit in a fucking
Yeah,
semi-final.
he doesn't give
You
a
know what I mean?
fuck.
Or
Does not
quarter
give a.
final.
Um, Last night, Houston versus Seattle Major League Rugby. Andre Warner, he used to play for the Lions. I think he had about 30 caps for them, 25, 30 caps. He also played for the Bulls. He's playing for Houston. He goes off in like the 12th minute with an injury, and the guy that replaces him won a Curry Cup with the Cheetahs 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and played the whole game as a nine. And it was like only South Africans. I mean, Dion Footy played 70 plus minutes at 36 years old at hooker in a final.
I think it was like 37 at that stage. Was it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Yeah. In a final. In his first World Cup.
Yeah.
That's how you
I'm
raise
proud
him.
of that guy. Eh?
Dude, well, because he's like the guy that's
I'd also have him like pour some beers, but I don't think he's going to be playing for the Springboks
no,
this year.
I just don't think it's. I mean, you know what? Another one of those guys. If you never see him in a Springbok uniform, dude, you helped us win a World fucking Cup, dude.
Yeah,
You know, like you put
nothing
in.
to take away.
Yeah. So, but that'll be it for this week, man. We had a lot to talk about, and I think next week we'll have just as much.
Yeah,
As more information comes through. Hopefully you guys dry out. Is it supposed to? Let me see if let me check the weather report. There is it going to be raining? Is this the rain season right now?
no, it's actually supposed to be finishing off now because when we go into autumn,
Yeah,
it becomes more dry over here. So, and winter is generally a dry season for us.
which is the exact opposite of Texas.
Yeah,
All right, what do we got? Daily here, 95% chance today, 55% chance tomorrow, 35, 50. Yeah.
it's
Um,
been a fuck up, man. Because I've got a gate I'm trying to paint, but I just can't get to it because it's fucking raining.
well, shit, we have rain coming here tonight. 80% chance starting in the evening. It's sunny as shit outside right now. Interesting.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I put a gate up to like on the side by my yard to keep
Okay.
the dogs away from the main gate.
Yeah, it's gonna
And
be raining tonight here.
we made it from like square tube and like
Yeah.
whatnot. So anyways, the gate's pretty nice and it's pretty decent. It's pretty strong. But now it needs a paint job, and I can't fucking paint it because it's been
'Cause
fucking
it's
raining,
raining.
man. It's been a pain in
Yeah.
my ass.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you get a chance in the next couple of days, but I know you got work just like I do. So,
Yep.
thank you once again for coming on after missing last week, but obviously we had a lot to talk about. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see you guys next week, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming out to watch us. And we appreciate every single one of you. Drop us a like, drop us a share, drop us a join the channel. Fucking, everything you need to do. We don't cost a jack shit. We do this for free. We do it for fun. Come out, join us on our next live, talk some shit with us. And yeah, thanks a lot. I hope